there is a concerted effort to make people afraid of crime.
Out of Minneapolis, 3 people are dead, including a police officer, and 3 others hurt in a shooting just before 6 p.m.
It was a violent start to the Memorial Day weekend in the East Metro. 4 separate shootings left at least 10 people hurt, all of them happening within about 15 miles of each other. You see them on the map, just how close they were.
2 men killed during a deadly day in Minneapolis.
Minneapolis police say this 17-year-old pointed a gun at officers this weekend after they were trying to arrest him following a report of an armed robbery downtown.
Tomorrow, a former corrections officer who says his life was saved by an inmate will push for the release of that prisoner.
A man serving time for murdering his wife.
Tonight, something a prosecutor called the stuff that happens in mob movies, as a Minneapolis jury heads into deliberations without 2 jurors after someone allegedly tried to bribe one and a second juror was asked about it by her family.
That was Mary Moriarty, a county attorney who represents Hennepin County in Minnesota, claiming that there is a concerted effort to make people afraid of crime. Of course, any sentient human being knows that most people are afraid of crime in these major cities because they have become leftist hellholes that are filled with crime. In addition to the millions of illegal immigrants that are allowed into this country, then flooded into these cities, and then they bring more crime as well. So I know this sounds crazy, but maybe people are afraid of crime because of crime. Here are the full comments by the county attorney, where of course she invokes race and says that it's not their fault they're committing crimes.
There is a concerted effort to make people afraid of crime. And I have heard over and over and over various forms of super predator, which I had hoped we left behind in the 90s, but we haven't. I hear it all the time when we're talking about young people, young Black youth, frankly, who are at risk and involved in, behaviors that we would wish they weren't, but we kind of understand why they are. So there's a lot of fear in politics. There are a lot of people in power who want to remain in power that are afraid of losing those positions of power by not supporting police or criticizing police.
Obviously, it's not just Minneapolis that's dealing with a crime and a societal decay issue. This was the scene over the weekend in San Francisco and Los Angeles, with looting and some left-on-left crime in Los Angeles, and San Francisco looking straight out of a Mad Max movie.
Oh wow, they got the door open. Damn. I ain't got nothing to say, really. What can I say? But if they thought it was gonna be hot, well, it is gonna be hot now. Bro got a whole jack.
And this is police breaking through protest lines. They were pushing through and trying to break up the gathering inside and around Dodd Hall. You can also see some of the hedges that sort of were used as barriers by the protesters trying to seal off and block that area. The protesters tried unsuccessfully to stop police as they charged in. They confiscated various items that they were using to sort of blockades and barricades from inside the building. It did appear that there were some people who were detained if they did not comply with police officers' orders. Next video we're going to show you. This is from Moore Hall, and you can see the crowd attempting to break into Moore Hall, but guards inside were able to fend off the protesters and lock the doors and prevent the protesters from entering the buildings.
If that's not bad enough, apparently we're allowing ISIS members to come across the border illegally, but no big deal, they're probably just here for work.
8 individuals, all from the Central Asian country of Tajikistan, were arrested in Los Angeles, New York, and Philadelphia. They entered the United States this year and in 2023, crossing the Mexican border. They were vetted and allowed to remain in the country. CBS News has learned further investigation uncovered the men had possible ties to ISIS-K, the terror group which claimed responsibility for an attack at a Moscow concert hall that killed more than 140 people earlier this year.
Lastly, as a contrast to those Mad Max videos you saw, a YouTuber was charged with federal crimes for filming a video in the desert. The video shows a girl shooting fireworks out of a helicopter at a Lamborghini. And again, as far as I can tell, they appear to be in the desert and not really around any sort of structures or people. But he's been charged with a federal crime because he did not request permission from the government before doing so. And I just have to say, what kind of country have we become if you can't get in a helicopter and shoot fireworks at a Lamborghini in the desert? George Washington is probably rolling over in his grave.
The video, titled "Destroying a Lamborghini with Fireworks," was orchestrated by 24-year-old Sukmin Choi, who goes by Alex Choi. According to the complaint filed by the Department of Justice, he directed a YouTube video in which 2 women in a helicopter fly near the ground and, without filming permits, repeatedly shot fireworks at a Lamborghini sports car. He's now charged by the DOJ with 1 count of causing the placement of an explosive or incendiary device on an aircraft.
Isn't this America? I'm sorry, I thought this was America.